I remember that one day I couldn't sleep in the morning. I opened my window and I see the sunrise, and it was really perfect. I did a good decision to build this tiny house, because without it I couldn't live this moment. The idea of having a tiny house on wheels was the only solution, because I could build a house for myself, but also not deciding where to build it because it's on wheels. For the dining room you also need some chairs, and you'll find them hidden in the walls. And yeah, and like this you can have you have completed the dining room. You only need 2 persons to build it, because the construction is made by small things that you assemble during the process. In this small cabinet you find the shower tube. You can transform the toilet into a shower. And you find the shower plate just below your feet. And now I'm ready to take a shower. Bye bye!
Imagine a world in harmony with nature, with others, and with ourselves. A world where people are nourished by diversity and beauty. Do you believe it can exist? Utopia. Discovering dreams that are reality.
My name is Leonardo. We are in my tiny house, which is called a void. Void means empty. And when you enter into this house, it looks like an empty green room. And you have to discover and open things to see where there's the bed, where there's the table, where there's the kitchen. So I call it as an empty space. Actually, it's a home, and everything is hidden behind these panels. And basically there are many rooms in only 9 square meters. I'm gonna show you. Every panel opens up like this, and you will see that everything that I open, it's in a natural wood material, to create a contrast between the gray color of the empty space, and also, yeah, it reminds me that the house it's made by wood. I studied architecture, and I wanted to build my own house, also to prove myself that I have learned enough to build for myself a house. The idea of having a tiny house on wheels was the only solution, because I could build a house for myself, but also not deciding where to build it because it's on wheels. I started this journey as a nomad architect in a way with a tiny house. I will show you how many rooms there are in the tiny house. Starting from the bedroom. It's a Murphy bed, and it measures 90 centimeters by 2 meters, but it also can be enlarged for 2 persons. And this is made opening some parts. As you can see here, it's a house on wheels, but it also has furniture on wheels. Every part has its own function, and every centimeter is used for something. Here, for example, to place some pillows. The mattress, which I designed myself just for this tiny house, can be enlarged with few moves from 90 centimeter to 1.45 meters. So like a double French bed. And when you are 2, you sleep in this other configuration. And I would say that it's quite enough. I was the really first tiny house builder in Italy, so I had to learn from from YouTube, and also try to get some knowledge also from places where they built camper vans. I started to get some knowledge from one person and the other, and together with architectural skills, which they were also important, I managed to build the tiny house. And yeah, after 8 years, it's quite okay. So I proved myself that it was a good construction. actually inside this space there's the bathroom, which goes from here to here. So it measures around 0.7 square meters. Also in this case, you open the device and you see the wood. So probably you have recognized that everything that I open, it's in the material of wood. So as I was saying, this space, it measures 0.7 square meters. And I designed the bathroom. It doesn't look like a toilet because I wanted to have it in scene also from outside. And here you have the most important part, which is the composting toilet, with also some space to hide the toilet paper. So basically everything has its own place. And here you have a foldable sink which opens up like this. So many devices, I designed it myself to be well integrated in the small space. Here you have a mirror cabinet. As you can see, when I open the things, I put many attention so that the lines, they combine perfectly. So if you want, you can keep this door open and it doesn't stay in the middle of the room. It has its own aesthetic when it's closed and when it's open. And also the sink too, and many other things. In this small cabinet, you find the shower tube, which you place on this hook. And basically, you can transform the toilet into a shower. But you would ask, where does the water go? Because everything is made by wood. Well, the answer, it's below myself. You see there's this small door, which now I'm gonna open. And you find the shower plate just below your feet. And of course, when you take a shower, you need some privacy. So you have this curtain, which also it's important for the water to flow in the right direction. I think everyone can build a tiny house, and especially it's very important that the person that wants to have a tiny house is involved in the process. I usually, sometimes I also design tiny house for other people, but I always ask to the resident to be involved in the process because every single detail and every single space has to be made like perfectly for the person which is gonna live it. The construction of a tiny house, it's very simple because it's made by wood, so you only need 2 persons to build it. You don't have to have big cranes to lift very heavy stuff because the construction is made by small things that you assemble during the process. Here you have a table. So the bed, when you don't sleep, it becomes a bench. I will show you how. And that's the second room that you're gonna discover, the dining room. It's a single table, but also in this case, you can make it double like this. And it happened to do some dinners with 6 people. So of course, you need to be very friendly, but 3 people here and 3 people on the other side, it was possible. My advice is to be very prepared and get some physical experience with a small space. For example, you could ask to a person that already has a tiny house to have to spend there some days and get some knowledge, and maybe go there with a measurement tape, so you can really understand how much is 1 meter. So really to get a physical connection with a space that could be similar to what you are building it. And here you have the third room, which is the kitchen. Also in this case, the gray color, it becomes wood. And you have a cooker, induction cooker, which goes with the solar energy. And you have also a kitchen hood, which is very important, especially when you cook something which make some smell, you can, it's very important because the space is very small and I also have my clothes and so on. And so this is a very important feature for the tiny house. And this is the sink, which also works as a cutter, like this. And in this way, I can make the sink smaller or larger, depending how much space I need on the top. Also in this way. And here there's the sink tap, which works like this. And yeah, now I don't want to waste water because it's very important, but it works like this. And here you have all the things to cook. It's very, very big storage. And for fresh things, pots, plates, I also have wine glasses made by a very special plastic, so they don't break when I move. And these are also very important because they are very light, and the tiny house has to be light. And yeah, I basically have everything I need here. Here there's a drawer which contains like cutlery and table sheets and so on. In this drawer you also have some bins for recycling waste, glass, paper, plastic and humid. Here you have a very tiny fridge, which you need to be very good to put all the things inside, with also some place as a freezer. I would say that this tiny house could value around 70,000–80,000 euros. That's because also I have photovoltaic system with batteries, which allows me to be completely self-sufficient. So even in the winter, with 6 photovoltaic panels and 2 batteries, I can use also the electric cooker, electric boiler for hot water. And this is very important because if you want to live completely in the nature, you cannot have you cannot be restrained from having an electric cable. And the other thing is to be self-sufficient is water, because of course you need to have water for dishes, the shower and the toilet and so on. In my case, I have a big tank for clean water and a tank for dirty water, and I use my car to exchange water. So I have another tank in my car which allows me to make this exchange. For the dining room you also need some chairs, and you find them hidden in the walls. And I have found this solution to integrate it in the tiny house. So also in this case, you open a device of the tiny house and you discover the wood, creating this contrast. And yeah, and like this you can have you have completed the dining room. I can say that for a national law, the tiny house can stay in one single place for 6 months without needing any permission. You only need to have to create like to send a paper to the comune to say I'm gonna stay here for 6 months. After this period, the tiny house has to be moved. If you want to place it in the nature, and a solution could be to create like a camping. In Italian, it's called like agricampeggio, which is a camping in a farm. And in that case, that's basically it's the same regulation of a camping, but it is allowed not in a touristic area, but also in an agricultural area. And here you have the wardrobe for the clothes of the season. Of course, they are not all here, but it looks small, but actually it's very deep, as you can see, really deep. And also in this space I created this hanging system for the skateboard. And over there are 1, 2, 3 other cabinets for the other clothes. My best memory was in Tuscany because I had the tiny house in this beautiful hill where I could see Siena. And I remember that one day I couldn't sleep in the morning. I opened my window and I see the sunrise, and it was really, really perfect. I went to the rooftop and I had breakfast over there. It was really beautiful, and at that moment I thought I did a good decision to build this tiny house, because without it I couldn't live this moment. And so in that moment I really realized that it was a right choice. Over there in that panel, when it's summer season, I remove it and I place plants for cooking, like basil, rosemary. So with a ladder you can go up and using the plants to cook. To have a tiny house was really a big dream for me, and I'm very happy that I have realized it. I would like to design a tiny house which is also perfect for many people, and creating a tiny house which is affordable and that everyone, also a student without many savings, can afford. And this would be really, really a big dream for my profession. And of course, the other dream is to always keep moving with the tiny house. I hope that in the future I can go to France, because it was my first dream to park the tiny house next to the Tour Eiffel, or at least with the view from a window of the Tour Eiffel. And yes, maybe it will happen in the near future, who knows. Well, I think you have seen a lot of my tiny house, but you didn't see my favorite part that I'm gonna show you now. It's in the narrowest cabinet, but contains the most exciting part, which is a ladder, which is not used only to climb to take the plants, but it's also my device to reach my favorite part of the tiny house, which is the rooftop. I'm gonna show you. I have designed this rooftop to have a private outdoor space. It's very special, especially in the summertime during the night, because since it's 2 meters by 2 meters, you can also use it for sleeping. And it happened that someone placed a tent on the rooftop. My suggestion is to look at my Instagram and learn a little bit how I have lived in the tiny house, because it's also more realistic in a way to see my videos, because I made them during really everyday life. So maybe you will not see the house completely cleaned, but it's also important to see like this adventure of a tiny house. Viva viva!
Utopia. Discovering dreams that are reality.